everybody, this is John for MTG Nexus coming at you with a short stream tonight with some Mardu Death Shadow. As a friendly reminder, if you like modern content, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel and giving us a follow here on Twitch, as we've been being the most informative modern channel for Magic on YouTube and Twitch. So this is Mardu Death Shadow. The only variant I could find doing well was by Fearum0728, so all credit to their deck list. This is obviously a Death Shadow list, so you're trying to lower your life total to a reasonable point where you can cast a decent sized Death Shadow. It's always a bit of a dance trying to figure out what's the best configuration. Obviously, Thoughtseize and Dismember, generally the best ways to lower your life total, along with Street Wraith, and then Shocks and Fetches. Last time we played a this is really just the first time we've played a non-blue, non-green version in quite a while. Last time I think we played Orzhov instead of a slight blue or red splash here. I apologize, I'm trying to concentrate here, trying to shake a bit of a headache, but we will press on. So the red splash this time is running a Fervent Champion, which seems a little bit odd, but I'll get to that in a second. Some Teamer Battle Rages, a Kolaghan's Command, and a couple Angrass Rampages. Rampage is pretty reasonable. I think it's kind of an underplayed spell a little bit. It is sorcery speed, but this deck is more of a sorcery speed deck than most other decks, so it tends to play a little bit more at sorcery speed. Beyond that, your additional threats besides the Death Shadows are Stoneforge Mystics and Ranger Captain of Eos, which allow you to go find your 1-drops, which are Giver of Runes, additional copies of Death Shadow. And Fervent Champion, the reason Fervent Champion is in this deck is I would guess its ability to equip for 0 basically with our 2 swords. When you're playing Death Shadow, you really don't want to be playing too many copies of Batterskull, so your equipment of choice here is a Sword of Feast and Famine and a Sword of Fire and Ice. And then your other creatures are a couple copies of Tidehollow Sculler to supplement your Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes. You have some Fatal Pushes here, along with the Angrass Rampages, a Dismember, and some Kaya's Guiles, and a Kolaghan's Command as your interactive spells. And then one of the nice things about playing the 3-color version here is you get to play 4 copies of Silent Clearing, so much like Nurturing Peatland in the Jund version. You get another Cycler in your deck without really a huge cost to it, as you do kind of want to lower your life total some anyway. And you also have a couple copies of Lightning Bolt here. Beyond that, not really a lot fancy going on. 2 Godless Shrines, 2 Blood Crypts, and 1 Sacred Foundry. Sideboard, you have a couple Burrington Forge Tenders for red-based decks. Pretty good with your Ranger Captain of Eoses against like Prowess and Burn. A couple copies of Surgical Extraction, primarily for your Uro and Dredge decks. 1 copy of Collective Brutality, also for your red decks. Celestial Purge, I'm sensing a theme here, lots of red deck hate. A couple Damping Spheres for decks like Tron. 1 Plague Engineer. Maybe this should be a second, but the pilot opted to throw a Goblin Rabble Master in here, a little bit of a threat that is kind of a 1 card army in a can. 4 copies of Fulminator Mage. Okay. Feels a lot when you're already running Damping Sphere, but I guess you want some hate for some of the control matchups. And 1 copy of Wear Tear gives you some outs to things like Chalice, which can be problematic in some spots. Although Angrass Rampage, another reason to be running the card, also does the same thing in the main deck. So that said, let's queue up for some matches in the Manatraders series and see how it goes. How is everyone doing tonight? Hope all is well on this Labor Day here in the United States or for somewhere else in the world. Crate waiting for Chili Dead. Chili D-A-D-D. Sorry, I gotta flip back and forth between my matchmaking page here and the actual stream thing, so it's like, all right, well, hopefully our opponent gets it this time. All right, there we go. On the play, which is nice. Luris deck. Alright, so we basically have no interaction for Luris deck, but we do have quite a bit of threats here, so I think we're going to keep. Pass turn. Probably plan on playing a Stoneforge Mystic onto. Looks like we're up against red-black Luris. So grind fest right out of the thing. So probably want to grab on the shrine with this one. So I can this is where things get interesting, right? Like we want a second white source for Ranger Captain at some point, but we also potentially want to play a bunch of Death Shadows. Thoughtseize. Still think we play just Stoneforge here. If they bolt it, it's whatever. Like at some point we're gonna find a third land. So while a lot of their removal is black based, obviously their creatures being red based, I'm more inclined to want to grab the red sword, though I'm not quite sure here if that's the correct one. It's possible I was supposed to fetch another. Sure. Do you Thoughtseize my Thoughtseize? I do indeed Thoughtseize my Thoughtseize. Question is, what do I fetch here? feels like I grabbed Fervent Champion. Just have a 0 mana equipper. Should we hit a mana source next turn? Sure. Another Stoneforge Mystic here. Take their sword. Now, if you're our opponent, what do you kill? Fatal Push, kill what? Sure. Please, Bloodcrypt. So if you have Kolaghan's Command, you know how to use it now. Sure. Opponent likely has Kolaghan's Command in hand they intended to use, but I think we kind of screwed with them a little bit by how we sequence things. What am I pitching here? Can we deliver lethal here? Go to 6. Yeah, I think we just have lethal. me start. Purge is fine. Surgicals might be okay. Brutality seems fine. No. Plague Engineer is kind of whatever. Dismember maybe can go out. I don't know. There's a lot of different things here that might just go out. Don't think it's a Teamer Battle Rage matchup. So this gets really, really grindy. Shave one Street Wraith. And try it like this. Choose to play first, reveal Thuris. I think this hand's fine. Obviously, it's a little bit vulnerable to Thoughtseize, but any hand we have is going to be a little bit vulnerable to Thoughtseize. So grab Godless Shrine here. Thoughtseize whatever they want. They'll probably take Ranger Captain. Yep, because that's 2 for 1. There's a Swiss Spear. Seal Fire is kind of whatever. Just fetch the planes here. Purge this. Awkward. Let's go ahead and surgical their Soul Scars. Fatal Push, Seal of Fire, and Thoughtseize. They have 2 Croxes, some Abbots, some Rampages, a couple Clings, 3 Swiss Spears. If they want to try to seal fire this, then they can, I guess. We're just going to get 2 for 1, 1 for 1 regardless. Just make them think they have to push it or something. Sure. Your Thoughtseize just dealt you 2 damage. Last card in hand. What a fatal push. Another land. Not exactly ideal here, but yep. You should have held on to Inquisition for specifically this reason. So annoying. Just pass turn. No reason to fire off Guile right now. Alright, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Start by casting Thoughtseize. Sandgrass Rampage. Sure. Guess we actually want the Forge Tenders in this matchup, don't we? Do we? Like, Forge Tender isn't specifically great. Try like that. I'm like getting burned out at the end of the game. Is one of the risks you play when you play Death Shadow, though, right? And seems pretty reasonable. Lead on Godless Shrine. There's a Thoughtseize, a Fatal Push, and an Abbot. Bunch of lands. Be right back. Okay, they found another Thoughtseize anyway. We pass here. Pass turn. I am Fire Luris Abbot. I think I'm fine playing out the Death Shadow here, force them to use their Fatal Push. Just a 7 here. Sure. Hard to beat that combination of stuff. Unearth into Luris into stuff. Just like All right. Cobra Khan 91. Okay. It's the downside of this system sometimes having to wait on people to actually make the queue. They're supposed to make the queue. My opponent isn't paying attention to instructions. This is comedic yet pathetic. Yeah, it's a different kind of deck. I'm not sure if I like the red in or not, or if the Orzhov feels better. Of course, when you get red-black Luris right out of the gate, it's kind of hard to gauge much of anything, right? How you doing tonight, Ando? Fetch first, thin the deck a little bit. So I'd really like to draw a discard spell. Okay. Why am I paired against Cobra Khan, but my thing here says Deborges? Somebody start watching. Okay. I'm confused here. Still kind of weird that your friend's in here watching the game. Feels like this one might drag a little bit. So we get to go to 13 next turn, but we can't, unless we draw like another Street Wraith or something, we can't convert a turn 2 Death Shadow. Targets me with it. Okay. So probably Jund of some kind. Don't care, just please make your game actions. Sometimes the awkward part of Death Shadow decks is you can't play anything. Okay, there's a Street Wraith. It was actually a mistake to play this one before I drew. Push the Goyf. Play a Death Shadow. Pass turn. I'm going to get Liliana here. Yep. Goodbye, Liliana. It's like, what's our best draw? A 4th land? To go like a fetch land? Depends a lot on what their thing is here. Ghost Quarter. So if they have a fatal push, they can't do anything this turn anyway. I think we grab a Fervent Champion. Hope we hit a land drop next turn. Fred from War Dog Land? Huh? What am I pitching here? Feels like it's the Death Shadow, honestly. So far we've lost to Red-Black Luris, and now we're up against Rock. I suppose. Deciding whether to fatal push this or not. Maybe it was wrong to discard the Death Shadow. I don't know. The Ghost Quarter my red source that could actually get really bad for me, but looks like they want their 4th land for a reason. Through Liliana would be really annoying. Dark Confidant, sure. Hopefully for some reason they don't have a discard spell here. I'm not counting on it though. That seems like really poor timing. Playing the sword first. Not that it particularly matters here. They have the push, they have the push. I'm kind of not thrilled if my opponent is coaching or if his friend is coaching him, but not really a whole lot I can do. Yeah, I don't know why that was so hard to think about. It is, but it's also a bit eclectic too. Unearth's going to be rough. They get to bring back the Tarmogoyf. They have another Liliana. We're basically toast here. This trophy isn't great for the home team either. Guess we go ahead and get the final Death Shadow here. I was going to say, do you have a third copy of Fatal Push? Well, we don't know for sure that they have Luris main. They could. I don't know. It's likely, but we don't know for sure. Once again, don't know if that's the correct play, but this is game one. I think we've already effectively lost this game, unfortunately. I think I'm going to give it one more draw step and then call it a game here. Just hard to beat Liliana and the Liliana into like I was kind of hoping to equip Fervent Champion and then kind of go to town from there, but they had the Assassin's Trophy anyway. So even if we would have equipped, it would have been a bit of a mess. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and skip it up here. My opponent is playing redonkulously slow, which makes me think that their friend is helping them out, potentially. And so doesn't really feel like we have a lot for this matchup, honestly. Purge could be okay against Liliana and Dark Confidant. Plague Engineer could potentially be okay. I don't really like bringing in Fulminator against the two-color deck that can actively fetch basics. So, as far as cards I don't like, once again, Temur Battle Rage doesn't feel fantastic. first. Got a lander, got mulligan. One lander that doesn't do much, so we got to mulligan this as well. Okay, so probably ditch K command and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Try it like this. Don't think either way we're going to have a great hand. Of course, our opponent doesn't look like they have a fantastic hand either. So they're mulliganing to at least 5, maybe 4. Kind of in an awkward spot here, right? Because this hand is mana heavy, but at the same time also, not mana heavy, needs mana, but at the same time is also like really vulnerable to discard spells. Turn. Guess they're waiting for us to crack that land. We just never did. Basic into basic. Plus to 14 down to 10. Sorry, 11. Okay, why are you doing it in response to the fetch land? Sure. Scrap to give her runes. Sure. Question is, what do we do with the Kaya's Guile now? Do we create a 1/1 or do we exile their graveyard? If I knew for sure they were on a Luris build, I would exile the graveyard, but as is, I think just getting as many cannon fodder threats on the board as possible. That way if our opponent was trying to go like push into... Guessing they're going to push the... Okay, sure. Once again, as slow as they're playing, it feels like they're either new to MTGO or their friend that's watching us is helping them. I can't make that determination for sure, but it's like they're playing like really slow. Sure. Playing the land out in case they have Liliana and decide to plus. Looks like their last card is also a Fatal Push. Sure. So they were just packing a bunch of Fatal Pushes. Seems kind of hard to beat through. Let's go to 8 here. I really don't want anything larger than a 5/5. Maybe I should have gotten another red source there in case they GQ us. Okay. I guess we just play the 3/4, can't be blocked. The hidden mode on Street Wraith. The rare cast Street Wraith. 3/4 Swamp Walk, too powerful, confirmed. I honestly just think they were too far behind. It seems okay, like it's really kind of hard to really early to say this, but it really seems like this is one of those decks that seems to win whenever it just like can jam threat after threat after threat after threat after threat in these attrition matchups and our opponent couldn't answer them. That's how we won the one game against Luris and how we won the one game here. Well, I mean, they still have Lilianas and they still have trophies. We saw at least one trophy from them game 1. Like, obviously this hand isn't great, but at the same time, like, we have a turn 1 play. We have a couple removal spells depending on what they play. And then a Street Wraith to either punk them out or whatever. Purge doesn't seem terrible here. If they have push, they have push. It's whatever kind of here. Well, so are we to a certain degree. Feels like they have the push. Push confirmed. This is where I think some of these matchups I would like to have the Batter Skull in this build. Like, just having another threat, even if it kind of turns off our Death Shadows. Feast and Famine, right? Gotta have another Fatal Push, right? So you kept a 1-lander? Only one Fatal Push. Or maybe they just skip their turn accidentally last turn. Hard to say. There goes Sword of Feast and Famine. What you got here, friend? Another Street Wraith. Sure. Just large enough that we can't kill it 1-for-1. Let's get some information. Trophy Ooze Goyf Unearth. Opponent not willing to block. Okay. Why would you attack there? That just makes no sense whatsoever. Same reason you didn't block. Why did you... Okay, sure. Get your spell back. Like, why didn't you... Yeah, whatever. Opponent's gonna do whatever the opponent's gonna do. You know, War Dog, we still haven't seen Luris. Hex Drinker. Maybe this purge wasn't the best thing to bring in. Like, we presume they were on Luris, and obviously we saw Liliana in game 1. Sure. Maybe I was just supposed to hold up the bolt here. Punk out. Got him with the punk out. Like I said, it seems like they might be new to MTGO, or they're like a yellow hat deliberate player. But I'll be right back in 1 second. I gotta go check on the puppy downstairs. Well, actually, old dog ain't doing so hot, so be right back. Guess I should pull up the deck in the meantime. Alright. Let's go ahead and do at least one more match. So how's everyone doing tonight? War Dog and Indu. It's like War Dog. Oh, War Dog's still in the thing here. Great, waiting for decking. Be able to play. And this is a hand. I do think we keep this hand, although we do really want another land. Probably fetch Blood Crypt. Alright, so Reclaimer.deck. Take the path, I guess. No, actually, I think we want them to have the path. We just take the Elvish Reclaimer here. Right, they play Tumble Garden and pass. Good, Thoughtseize again. Take the Eldamari's Call. The Dead. And please. Guess I should have been more specific, huh? Basic. One of our two basic lands is not going to do it here. Okay. At least we have a bolt to cover that. Dryad would really suck, obviously. Alright, start playing our 2/2s for 1. Dryad? Far worse than Dryad. Tight. It's probably that matchup, probably a Fulminator matchup. Damping Sphere doesn't really do a whole lot against Titan Vial or Reclaimer Vial, whatever the heck it is these days. Fatal Pushes and Bolts are necessary evils. Kaya's Guiles are a little bit slow and clunky. Kolgon's Command's fine. It's a lot of 3-drops though. Try it like that. Alright, guess I'd like to play first. Huh. Still think we keep these kind of hands, but maybe not. Maybe I'm supposed to mulligan this one because it only has the one land. Alright. Thoughtseize. Let's again take the Elvish Reclaimer. Dryad. Just all the answers to the Death Shadows. Just getting a little late to the party here. Guess I should have just done the thing. Yeah, we're just dead here if they play this right. Not that we weren't already dead at this point, but this is where having a batter skull would be nice in the deck. No matter what we play here, we're dead to the known Celestial Purge. Okie dokie. I think on that note, I'm going to call it a stream. I'm still battling that bit of a headache that just won't seem to go away, and I think this deck still has some issues. Definitely probably want a Batter Skull in the sideboard of this kind of a build. I know the Orzhov Death Shadow deck we played had, like, you know, this kind of setup here. Like, Fervent Champion is kind of nice. Some of the red cards are kind of nice, but some of it is just kind of like, is it really worth the less clean mana base? I don't know. It's not like you can't run... It's not like you can't run Fulminator in a just white black version. Like, what are you gaining from the version that we're running right now? Rampage is nice, don't get me wrong there. Battle Rage is okay. Bolt's okay. But, like, you could run Path if you really want another 1-mana removal spell. Kolaghan's Command is okay. Rabble Master, really didn't see it in action. Wear Terror, got Disenchant. I mean, like, honestly, it doesn't feel like the red cards are adding all that much. As maybe crazy as that sounds. Something to think about, I guess. Maybe do some more work with the black-white version, but I want to do a little bit of this tonight. It was interesting, but lots of grindy decks in the format right now, and I obviously can't keep one-landers. Tried and failed, so yeah. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for hanging out tonight. War Dog, Ando, everybody else viewing the stream. If you're new to the stream, please consider giving us a follow. And if you like modern content, please consider checking out our Modern and Pioneer YouTube channel. As always, this has been John for MTG Nexus.